lift up their hands. So your timing, your coordination is all impaired because the neurotransmission is being blanketed. Impaired, cover-up. So that is the reason why less information is being sent down. So that's marijuana is a chemical factory of its own, and it is a dangerous drug that is affecting the brains. That is the reason why I said that the timing, the coordination, all of it takes time. So our young people have lost their common sense and have become burdens to their family and their communities. You see, today we have our priests, we have all our nuns, they work in the community. But how can they be safe is one of our concerns. And if the church utilizes, see the potential of our young boys and give them some opportunity, which Catholic Church is the only church that is working very well with the youths today. And I've seen that because I am proud to say this because most of the dioceses have welcomed me into their churches to talk about drugs. The Pentecostal churches hardly. Even the STA churches have never welcomed me. But I know how stubborn they are. Even AOG, hardly I go and talk about these programs. And I'm so thankful because I've been used by Catholic Bishops' Conference, and I've also had the opportunity to become the Master of Ceremony for the Catholic Bishops' Conference. And you see the building at Correct. I was on stage as a Master of Ceremony and also as a comedian. So I spoke a little bit of Chinese there. So you carry money to go making Just not go making to go cutting the sound conference ni kafir ni go making to go. So that's the power of the church. So the church has to stand up for the young people. And thank you, Catholic Bishops' Conference. We have done. Some of you are sitting, so I talk Chinese. And over there, we were so surprised to have the big man for CPM, Marsh Patel. Everybody know that crowd. There's a very big guy from India. He came. He put very big money down. So that is the program that the Catholic Bishops' Conference has done. And I was the Master of Ceremony, and I'm proud because St. John's at Tokara is where I got my confirmation. And I see that. So that's why young people have lost common sense and have become a burden to their community. You look at Laloki Psychiatric Center. We've got 56 beds, but we've got 160 patients. That's a big burden. So what will the church do? What will the communities do? Are we going to sit down and say, okay, Lawrence Tau, my son, keep on smoking marijuana, come on, keep on. But am I helping my son? No. And we have the churches coming and singing hallelujah and jumping up and down, and yet this fellow is smoking marijuana. But they are focused on revival. They are focused on all of this, but they begin to forget about the root cause of the community. So we've got a big problem. That is the reason why the churches must stand up and help our young people. So, sorry, we are just going a bit out, but we're coming, but we're still on topic. Alright. So the early use of drug increases a person's chances of becoming addicted. And I went to Highway Market, and I've seen how marijuana's flow in Okama. I've seen it in Tari, at Erima, or the flyover. And I've seen it at Foodland. This fellow got the marijuana and he's putting it in the rubbish. There is a dealer man who will go to one step. So, wait, what's up? So he gives the water and and you have one small boy running, opening the rubbish and getting it and giving it to that fellow. Look at how their strategy is. And these are all young people doing this. And you know what? Thank God for late William Sen, a member for Goilala. He saw that there was a big problem, so he started getting millions and putting them in BSB Bank and said, this is for the youth of Tapini. This is the money for youth from Boitape. Let's get them involved in youth activities. Let's put them to better schools, MAPEX training. Let's put them into Kumu. If we know that they're good at accounting, let's pay their school fee, let them go. We've been talking about Goilalas. Very shortly, you will see Goilalas taking over Papua New Guinea with the intellectual. Because when you see their high school or the Tapini provincial school, the they are the only organized school who pays schools in the morning. You go to Yarawar, you go to Laloki, you go to Kubian and Wikila, they eat biscuits. But you look at how Goilala is educating its young people. And yet we talk about, marijuana and stuff like Rascal line. But we didn't realize that something good is happening for the people of Goilala. So, let's educate our young people before they become addicts, and we will have a big problem. So, using drugs at this age has potential to disrupt the brain functions. That is the reason why it affects the motivation, the memory, learning, judgment, and behavior control. Today, if our young people who are under the age of 18 take marijuana, they are losing 8 points of their intellectual quotient, so the IQ. That is the reason why when we push them to school, they don't have time because the capacity over here is low. And it cannot accommodate the education or the academic, they are not academically up because there is a problem here. And we blame our young people. But we parents have to be blamed because have we built a family altar? Have we sat down with our family and had time of rosary? Have we had time of prayer? See, many times we lack in those areas. So it is time we give prominence to our young people. So that's the reason why motivation, memory, learning, and all of this is down. And we have a big problem. You see, the main psychotic or the mind-altering chemical in the marijuana is called the tetrahydrocannabinol. They talk about THC, that is THC. Tetrahydrocannabinol. It is the one that has caused a lot of our young people to be in Laloki Psychiatric Center today. So, these are the adolescent brain. The corpus callosum is the problem that you and I see, and we like to troubleshoot it. This part of the brain concentrates on that. The cerebellum is the one that talks about the movement, how we will move, coordinate, thinking, and all of this, how the muscles will move. Cerebellum is very important because today, a lot of people who are taking homebrew, their cerebellum has been affected. And we will look at motor neuron disease, one of the diseases that is happening our young people, the time cell he die, the muscles will not move, and as a result, muscle becomes wasted. We will see that in the next slide. Hippocampus is where the memories are. And the amygdala is the one that is sort of a response. So in the brain of a young person, the frontal cortex is the thinking part. So they call it the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, and the nuclear accumbens. That's how it picks up. So accumbens talks about the behavior, and the feeling is amygdala, and thinking is the prefrontal cortex. So if our young people, their brains have been affected, and we have a big problem, they will not achieve their plans and purposes in the future. So our young people have to be guided very well. Marijuana hijacks the brain. No chemicals can alter or change your mood, your feeling, your coordination, or your behavior, unless it has altered the cells. The cells are in the brain, and once the cells have been altered or been affected, then there is a problem there. It alters the cells in your brain and disrupted their chemical functions. So the brain or the blood-brain barrier is being affected, and as a result, there is less energy in the brain, and a lot of silly activities happen today. You look at boys going at the you be spinning. They spin the blueberry, they spin the tonica, and now we have whiskey cola. And where I come from is Tubusera. We got a big problem with whiskey cola. With blueberry, these people, when they drank together, driver went stop the vehicle, went somewhere and slept. Two boys slept on the back of the vehicle, one fell down, went underneath the vehicle. Driver thought that everybody was sleeping, so he came, he started the vehicle, and he ran over one. Too late. Here he smashed that fellow's head. This happened in Tubusera. So you look at what alcohol is doing. So we really need to help our young people. So the effects of drugs, especially marijuana, it distorts the sound, the time, the touch. It affects the memory and learning, lost coordination, and we have trouble with thinking and problem solving. It increases the heart rate, and the long-term effects, it decreases the sex hormones in male. So today we got a lot of problem. Mary losing man. Why? Because this is some of the problem. The testosterone, which is the strength of a man, once marijuana is deposited into the testes, that is a big problem, and it also deforms the stem cells. So decrease sex hormone in male and increase infertility in both male and female, and it weakens the immune system. So today, this infertility is causing a lot of problem. That is the reason why Ward 9 has a lot of the gynecological cancers. And we're talking about ovarian cancer, we're talking about the cancer that is affecting the peritoneum cavity, the belly of mama. All of these problems are coming up. And the weakening of the immune system. Alcohol and drugs are the one that is causing all of these problems. And once the immune system, the white blood cells are low, you are vulnerable, open to any sick like cancer. How cancer enters your body is because the cells, they die out. So what they call the oncogenesis, the start of cancer starts when the cells, they mutate, they change around. And then from the primary site, and it goes to the other sites, and that's how it spreads. And they call that, there's a word to that, the spread of cancer. So we've got a big problem. Lung cancer is one of them. The decreased motivation and interest in everyday activities, and bronchitis. So a lot of young people today, when they cough, you sort of like feel like air is coming out. It's because the lungs are probably rotten, that they have this emphysema. And emphysema is caused when the tar is the one that causes problem to it. So these are some of the problems that are happening to our young people, and we've got a big problem. Today, in the Motu and coastline, we have spear and lime mixed together, and it is causing hallucination. Hallucination is when you are acting out of reality. You're supposed to do this and you're doing the different thing. You're acting out of reality. So the spear and lime. So the spear that you buy, it comes from the Narcotics tobacco, which is the liver. And then, I don't know how they do it, but spear comes from Narcotics tobacco. And then it has other chemicals. I know it's natural, but it causes reaction together with calcium. That's the kabame. And when they take it in, the saliva is the one that causes the reaction to happen. And when it sparkles up, people begin to inhale, and it causes changes to the mind. And you see most young people becoming very stiff, and they start to do things that are uncalled for. So Papua New Guinea is now experimenting, looking at, oh, you missed that 30%. How did it happen? Lysergic dialatamide acid, or what we call LSD. Have you heard about LSD in America? That is the LSD that Papua New Guinea copied in making this drug. So that's the lysergic acid, and shortcut for that drug in the central Motu and coastline, they call that lyser. But it's lysergic, so they call it shortcut lyser. So you look at the problems that are happening to our young people, and they will have a problem out here. So we must always remember that drugs change the brain, and it can lead to addiction and other serious problems. So preventing early use of drugs and alcohol may go a long way in reducing their risk. So you've already had it. Drugs change the brain, and it leads to addiction. And you will see Narcotics report and the serious problems that are happening. So preventing early use of drugs will take our country to the next level. We want to see better leaders in the future. We start to invest with our children. And where does the change start? I want to encourage you leaders and coordinators, when you go back, talk to our newly young couples. The new boy and girl who start coming to courtship. That is very important, because education starts from the womb. And if boyfriend and girlfriend come together in holy matrimony, and the life starts in a womb, the environment has to be good, and dads need to start rubbing the tummy of the mother. First trimester, that's 3 months to 3, 4, 5. First trimester. 6, 7, 8, trimester 2. 7, 8, 9, trimester 3. So trimester 2, that is when the brain of the baby is in connectivity. Baby will sleep, but then to have, oh, so sweat para. Oh, kapara, daddy belum isuya, mama belum isuya. So the connectivities are happening. So They call this the biological postcard, where dads start to give a scripture to the baby or sing a song. Every water sunshine smile, or just like a sunshine and come back to me, and all these songs will ignite that brain to be ignited and to look at positive things. So it starts from the womb, because womb is the one that determines whether your future will be good or your future will be bad. If the baby is in the womb and the mother starts to take drugs, it affects the long term of that child. So it starts now. So that's the reason why I want to encourage young couples. I've spoken to a lot of young couples that married play plan, family play plan will be good when you do it while the baby is in the womb. You get him trained, get he or she ignited in the proper environment. The better environment, the godly environment, you raise nation builders. So, mental disorder is on the rise, and I am with 2 marijuana patients in Laloki Psychiatric Center. The perspective is that these illicit drugs are causing teenagers to be in organic psychosis. Because of marijuana, we've got a lot of problems, and as a result, it causes impediment to the development of this country. Did you hear what I say?
Yes.
It is causing impediment, causing trouble, causing big propaganda to our country. So this is Laloki Psychiatric Center, and mental health problems is what we're going to talk about. Today, drug addiction is considered as one of the most widespread psychiatric disorders. And 47% of Papua New Guinea's 12 years old have history of cannabis-induced psychosis. That 47% was in 2020. So, as low as 12 years. And today, in 2022, we have another report. So we can see that almost 70% or 300,000 of our young people have already consumed homebrewed marijuana. It started off here in the Motu and coastline. Firearms started here. And now you have every place in Papua New Guinea that are onto homebrew. Like Matuka. I went as far as Galileo and in Hoskin Station, right up to Moi and all of those villages to there's a technical school, Mora Mora. And we've talked about drugs. We also did awareness in Hoskin Secondary. We've also gone to Namatanai and to there's a place in Kivian. We did that awareness. So, with the National Narcotics Bureau, my former employee, I was the person carrying out all of this awareness. And because I moved out to the National Youth Development Authority because of the country's youth problems, the Narcotics Bureau today is stagnant and has not moved. So now the National Narcotics Bureau, the government has brought it to my department, and this time I'm ready to train a lot of young people, and we need to take this message out. Now time for me to sit down and we need new young people to take this type of PowerPoint and start presenting to the blocks, compounds, and settlements. So that's some facts about cannabis-induced psychosis. The mental health problem. Laloki Mental Hospital to be shut down. So this was a report sometimes back in 2020. Why they wanted to shut it down is because head long, and big tumas. Marijuana has caused a lot of problem. And you can see it's just a 56. The hospital is a 56 space hospital. Let's put it up and you see it properly. You can see the arrows going. So the hospital is a 56 bed space hospital. However, mental illness due to substance abuse of marijuana and alcohol are causing overcrowding. This is not my report. It's the report from Elkandowe. Na Grace Alka Salman Gunawe Nakisip. Laloki Psychiatric Center. So this is not my report. This is their report. But as an advocate, as a public servant, I must not sit down in my office and read newspaper or play games on the computer. I need to come out to the blocks, compound, settlement, together with the support of the churches. We need to raise this information out and make known to the people that you like come up head long, keep on smoking marijuana. So it's a 56 bed space hospital, and now we've got a very big problem. You look at 2019. From 12 to 17, it's about 31%. And 18 to 25, that's about 36. And the big people, that's 26 to 30, it came down a little bit. And 30 and over, it went low. So if you look at the 31% and the 36%, that's 47% from 12 to 25, which the current national youth policy of this book focuses on young people from 12 to 30 years old. So that's the current policy that says that National Youth Development Authority, government by look 12 come to 30 now. So that will be the focus for Papua New Guinea. So Christmas play over 30.
And it is 67%.
67%. Huh?
47.
Oh, okay. Yes, sorry. Oh, 36 plus 31. 67. Huh? Okay. Sorry for that. That's 67% now. Probably I was doing it late in the night, so anyway, we'll get that done. But as long as this information is given out to you, so 56 bed and 67%. And we have 160 plus patients. So we have more on cannabis-induced psychosis, we have some on bipolar, and we have some with the obsessive compulsive disorder. If they come see this book, they put it like that, they go turn around, come. Put it like that, they go come. And it's like doing it, correcting it, making mistake, correcting it, like that. So you look at the problems that are happening in Taloki, and we have some seasonal. So these are the disorders that are happening. But cannabis-induced psychosis is one of the biggest problems that's happening.